So in October, there was a lot of news when it came to the Resident Evil community, mainly because there was an article that came out about GOG and how they had got their original Resident Evil trilogy like on their website and how they were able to get those games. There were some interesting comments that came from Capcom because when it came to GOG, they essentially had to convince Capcom that people actually want these games. What was said in the article by Capcom is, we have all of those remakes. It's already the superior experience to those games. So as you could see like from that little quote is that Capcom really didn't see like why people would want to play the original game. I'm pretty sure those had to just be like higher ups at Capcom because like it doesn't really make sense like why they would say that. To me, I think the only reason why they really have that mindset is because the remakes have been making them a lot of money and they don't really see like why people would really care about the originals. And like to me, it doesn't make sense like why. It's like, dog, the remakes are not the superior version. Anybody that's played the original games will clearly tell you the remakes are not the superior version, unless there's just somebody that's really in love with the remake. When it comes to like the 3 remakes we've got, because I'm not going to count like RE1 remake because that was made in the early 2000s and still has tank controls and all that. I'm talking about like the newer remake. The remakes went 1.5 out of 3 because RE4 is a really great remake. RE2 is a good remake, but it still has problems and issues when you compare it to the original. And then RE3 is not really a remake, it's just a reimagining. Like it really is a reimagine because it kind of doesn't take anything from the original. All it takes is really just characters in some locations and it just throws some shit there, and it's not really a good remake at all. And one of the funny things is that them saying is like the remakes are the superior version is literally the only thing that you can say out of the remakes that is superior is Separate Ways in RE4 remake is so much better than the original because we actually get a real story for Ada. And that's the only thing to me that is actually superior compared to the original. Because when it comes to RE4 Remake and RE4, those two to me are companion pieces because they're both good in their own right. Because RE4 Remake is a really good remake of RE4 that just changes some things around. And of course, like it doesn't take away from RE4. So like you can really play both of these games and you'll see that both of them are really good. When it comes to RE2 Remake, it's a really good game. But there's a lot of things they left out that made the original great for what it was. Especially when it comes to the zapping system. The zapping system was what made RE2 so goddamn good. And especially some of the scenes we would get in the A and the B scenario, where in RE2, the A and B scenario is not different at all besides just starting a little early. And it's mainly because they originally did not want to make an A and B scenario. Even when you look at the story for what they did for Claire and Leon, even if they did want to just make one playthrough for both of them, they still do the same exact shit. There's really not that much different besides just Leon fighting Mr. X, and that's really the difference, where like they all fight the same goddamn bosses, they all do the same thing, where in the original you had some type of subtle differences, especially when it came to the A and the B scenario. Even when it came to just like Claire's playthrough and even Leon's playthrough, there are different things that they did, and that's what made that game really stand out. And of course, those two actually met in the police department multiple different times, and not just at that one gate that's in the remake. There was just a lot of things that the remake kind of left out that like made the original game special. And then when it comes to RE3 remake, it's not really a remake. It's out of all the games, it really is the one that's a real reimagine because they didn't take any of the shit that's from the original that made the original special. They don't even have the live selection feature that was in Resident Evil 3, and that's what one of the things that made it actually special. And also when it comes to Nemesis, Nemesis is not the same at all. Nemesis is a joke in the remake. It's a goddamn shame. And also we know all the different type of cut content that was cut out of the game. When it comes to RE3 remake, there's so many things that kind of just disrespects the original, like literally throwing Jill's iconic line that happens at the very end of RE3. They threw that shit in a random chase scene where like you more than likely would miss it if you get hit or something, and like it makes no sense with some of the things they did. There's some good things they did in RE3 remake, especially like when it came to characters like Tyrell, little things like that that are better, but at the same time there's a lot of BS's in RE3 remake. And like when it comes to RE3 remake, it's a pretty decent Resident Evil game, but it's a horrible remake. To me, I don't know why they're really claiming that these are superior when they're not that superior. And even when you look at Resident Evil Requiem and what they're doing for like the whole rollout, they really are keeping stuff like out of the original, because it's like when it comes to Requiem, it's in the regular timeline, it's not in the remake timeline, because you know they had that one 10-minute video that had like the voice actor Lady D and they had her talking, and like literally the only thing that you saw on that wall that referenced any older game was literally the flower from RE5. At the beginning of like that video, they showed like RE2 and like all the RE engine games. To me, it kind of just gives off like, do they not care about the original games at all? Like you should literally be showing the original games, because RE9 is literally in the regular timeline thing. So it's like it doesn't make sense why they're showing like remake stuff and like they have pictures of like remake Jill instead of just showing Jill from the PS1. And it kind of just shows that Capcom kind of just doesn't care about these older games as much as they should, and they just care about like these new fancy looking shiny ones, when it's like they should be showing off these. And it's like even for RE9's rollout, they should most definitely be showing shit from Outbreak, because especially because you have Alyssa there and this is her daughter. Like we should literally be seeing stuff from Outbreak in the rollout. Like they literally should be showing and be like, oh, this is such and such from Outbreak. I just feel like they should be showing that in trailers or something like that, but I don't know though. But just let me know in the comments, how do you guys feel about like Capcom saying the remakes are the superior versions of like RE2, 3, and 1. And also with them saying like the superior version, maybe they also could have been including like RE1 remake in there. If they are including that one, I mean, that one is kind of the superior version compared to the original, because like that one adds so many things that makes the original better, and then you can kind of replace the original, but at the same time the original still has its own charm. So I mean, if they're talking about that one, then that one's good, but it's like, dog, the rest of them are not superior at all. Like RE4 remake is the only one that's close, mainly because like it adds separate ways, and separate ways is actually really good compared to the original. But yeah, just let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Capcom not really caring about the original games? But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, why not like? If you didn't, you dislike, subscribe, you really enjoyed. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video though. Bye.